YouTube, welcome back. Pass the prop here. Got NBA and MLB on the docket for you guys today. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just sent my tweet out. I had a very calm weekend. Didn't watch as much sports as normal, but did get to tune into some playoff, obviously basketball, and then some crazy MLB as well with my Nationals yesterday. Oh my God, pulling off the crazy comeback. I know you actually bet on them. I was shocked to see in the first place, and then obviously after that first inning, I'm like, oh my God, he's at the game right now. This is brutal, and then obviously one of the most insane comebacks I've seen in a very long time to get that cover. Not even the full game, the first 5 cover. They covered. It was crazy. So yeah, that was a fun day of sports. Honestly, it was at the same time there was the Kyrie Irving comeback in the NBA, which is the more notable one that everyone was watching. But for me and my bank account, obviously that Nationals comeback was fucking huge.
Yeah, dude, I have no words for that. Obviously, I was at the game watching my Brewers there. I bet on the Nationals. I literally, in my VIP, sent, yes, I am backing Patrick Corbin. I literally had to put that in there because I think people probably thought I was fucking around a little bit, because I'm like, dude, I don't back Corbin. I actually kind of liked Corbin, and then C.J. Abrams really fucked him up, bro. Like, I sent you that text. I'm like, C.J. Abrams really gonna fuck him up, dude. Like, he cost him 3 runs, bro.
Yeah,
he cost him 3 runs. We could have got a Patrick Corbin W. That would have been probably like plus 500, bro. Fuck, but C.J. Abrams had a different thing in mind. But goddamn, bro, just still got to get that glove going, man. That was brutal, dude. Right to him. It goes between them, fucks it up, and gets the guy bases loaded. First pitch, Chaz Chisholm takes him yard, and then Corbin kind of wasn't that bad after that, dude. I was like, okay, we're good. And then to see he won, it was just like, right now in MLB, it's kind of one of those times where you're like, when you're sucking and you can't pick anything right, and it's just like everything you pick, something goes wrong in those. This is when the gambling gods come on your side because you're owed, bro. Because we've been doing it for how long? I've had so many of those beats, and then like that Thursday, Friday, I think we won 15-1 on MLB. Now it's like Saturday was okay, UFC was iffy, but then Sunday came back, and it's just like, damn. Sometimes the guys got to flip it around on you because there's sometimes when they're just like, holy shit, they just beat you down. But hey, shout out to the Nationals coming through here. Nick Senzel just decided to be good.
He's back.
He's gonna be cut in about a month anyway, so don't matter.
No, we're gonna flip him for like a middle reliever on some terrible team in like a useless trade deadline deal. That's what's gonna happen. You can just look back at all of the Nationals. That's all they do. They just sign random free agents and then fail to trade them, so they either cut them or give them for nothing. So that's what it is. But hey, we're gonna remember Senzel for a while. He's earned himself goodwill until the trade deadline with this one performance. The dude has like 4 bombs in 5 days since coming back. So definitely shout out to him. Yeah, put the team on his back right there. Got a surprising comeback win, and obviously cashed for both of us. So definitely got to acknowledge that on here. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen as like even just a baseball fan. Take out the betting, coming back like that when you're a team that's not that good in the first place, and it's like random guys doing it is definitely very fun. So definitely enjoyed that game.
Yeah, almost makes you want to bet them today, right? They're facing another lefty, and those are the only people you want to really bet these guys against. So, Stu, talk about some NBA here. Obviously, I have not been paying very close attention. I went to it was funny because I sent you a text last night, and I had to go to Kevin. I was at Kevin Hart. I went to the Kevin Hart performance last night. He was in Milwaukee. Dude, they take your phones, though. So, like, I had no watch or phone for the entire Bucks game. Couldn't even check throughout like the 3.5 hours. So I didn't watch any of it, didn't get to see any of it. And obviously can't respond to text either. So what do you what did you think about these last couple of days? Obviously we haven't been on here in a minute. And also what do you want to talk about for tonight's slate?
Yeah, no, obviously Timberwolves pulled off the sweep last night. The Suns are out in embarrassing fashion. It goes back to my thing, guys. Whenever you see the super team, that's the team I always cross off first, no matter what sport it is. This year it's the Dodgers for MLB. The Dodgers are not winning the World Series. No matter what the preseason heavy favorite, they can't lose. It happens every year. And ever since like KD joined what do you call it? Ever since KD joined the Warriors, it hasn't worked. Like it really hasn't. And no matter what sport we're talking about. So I'm always happy to see those teams crumble down, right? You try to buy your way into a franchise and it falls flat, and that's what just happened today. So I'm always happy, or it's yesterday night, I guess, when a team like the Timberwolves, so everyone really hates on all the time, you know what I mean? Like consistently for like years gets to kind of, flex a little bit and get their appreciation. So that was fun. For today, at least, the Lakers obviously avoided the sweep last game. Unfortunately, for people watching right now, I don't think that's going to happen again today. Personally, I think Denver probably closes this one out. I mean, the Lakers are throwing they're not even playing like terrible basketball necessarily. It's just kind of clear that I think they're a little bit outgunned in this series, and unless AD is 40 points, 18 rebounds kind of night, the role players hit their shots perfectly, it's going to be really hard to beat Denver tonight. So obviously that's going to be a good one. I don't know if you're paying attention to the Celtics Heat series at all. It's running on fumes right now. Boston 10.5-point favorites in this one for me. Unfortunately, I know we got a lot of Heat guys in the Discord and in the community in general. I think that one's probably over. I don't see a lot of path forward here. It's going to be very rough to, I think, steal any more of those games. But Thunder Pelicans, my favorite. We'll talk about that with the props a little bit more. I think that's probably the most competitive game of the night, to be completely honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of just big spreads, and you don't want to see that in playoffs. Kind of sucks. Blowout NBA, man.
Yeah.
Why I hate it, man. I can't bet it no more. I don't even want to. So it sucks. To see those numbers in the playoffs, bro. You want to see tight games. You want to see fun ones. Sure, we will down the road, but yeah, still.
Yesterday made up for a lot of bullshit. I will say that. Yesterday was like phenomenal. We had like Knicks winning in a clutch game first. We had the Clippers up 30, and then Kyrie brings the Mavs back into it, makes it a game winner. And then obviously the Pacers Bucks was like, what's even going on here? The Bucks had if you're not a basketball fan, you probably didn't like that game. But to me, I like watching these guys that barely get any run, playing in a playoff game. AJ Green, wrong sport out there. You guys had Jackson from UConn last year who went from national stage to national stage. It's kind of cool to see some of these other guys get the minutes. And then obviously the Timberwolves game was great as well at night. So yesterday was kind of our first great day, I feel like, in a little bit. So hopefully they can carry the momentum a little bit today, even with some of these bigger spreads.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talking MLB for me, like I said, I'm not really in the depths of NBA right now, dude. I want to watch another outing from my boy Lodolo and my guy Bryce Miller. Both those guys I'm pretty heavy on this year in best ball, long season stuff. Obviously, both those dudes on the hill tonight. Tough matchup for Miller, but he does get to throw in Seattle, and it's something you can't go unnoticed, man. It's so hard to hit bombs there, and the Braves sucked this weekend. They were awful. That offense got stymied by dudes that should not be stymieing these guys, and almost makes me interested in Miller maybe at a very low owned on DFS. Nobody's going to play anybody against the Braves. But I watched the Cleveland Guardians just absolutely shove on them with Ben Lively, bro. Ben Lively shoved on these dudes. Tanner Beebe shoved on these dudes. They got worked, bro. I think I want to find a way to get on Seattle here. Not something I usually like to do, which is fade the Braves, but dude, I think they did not look good, bro. I get the Guardians are nice, I do, but that pitching stat, it wasn't like Shane Bieber's there. They're winning games with close back and forth games. Yes, yesterday they won, but 4 caught stealings in the 7th inning or later for Cleveland. Dude, they should have lost that game too. So definitely think I'm a little bit lower on the Braves right now. They're in a kind of a little cold streak, even with LB's back. LB's really the only guy hitting. Acuna ain't doing shit. Olsen ain't doing shit. So it's pretty much Ozuna and LB's now these back. So I think that those are the games I want to watch. I think Bryce Miller's gonna have a night.
Yeah, I saw his strikeout prop was lower than normal, obviously, with the matchup there. But yeah, I'm big on Miller in best ball as well, and also you mentioned Lodolo, same here. And all these young guys, I'm with you on as well. So that's going to be fun. And I'm obviously biased. I'll be watching the Nats tonight, But I agree, you got some good games out there.
Yeah, dude, I actually wish that they were on the DFS slate because I might fuck around and stack the Nationals. I might have fucked around and put a 3-man. National stack. Not feeling good about it by any means, but fuck, dude. The only time you ever play the Nationals against a lefty and Trevor Rogers ain't missing bats, the Nationals aren't going to strike out, and you're going to – I think it's a good spot for him there. But I think that would be the one I also want to watch. I want to see Grayson Rodriguez shove on these Yanks, bro. Fuck that shit, dude. That shit yesterday was so dumb. Like, that game was a 5-5 ball game, and then they all meet, dude. Aaron Judge literally put his fucking hand right in the throwing lane, bro. Like, it was the most obvious. I'm sitting about 400 feet away and could see that shit, bro. Hopefully all four of them lose their job and shit. That shit was stupid. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen from umpiring, bro. I've seen, and it wasn't even Angel Hernandez, bro. It wasn't even Angel Hernandez, bro. I think Angel's better than all four of those fucks.
Yeah, give us the robo-umps, please. Oh, my God. I'm tired of these tweets of all these terrible misses. It feels like it's more and more. I don't know how that even happens, but, yeah, it's brutal right now.
But who slides and puts one hand straight up in the air? Nobody. You don't fucking slide like that. It's not fucking rocket science. Get some dudes who played fucking baseball as your umpires and figure that shit out. It was stupid. It was so bad. Like, everybody in the whole stadium could see that this dude's hand is literally straight up in a throwing lane. The dude's 6'8", bro. No shit. You put your hand straight up, you're right in Adames' face, bro. It was crazy. It's crazy. And I don't even hate the Yankees, but now I fucking hate them. So it's stupid, bro. Like, I didn't even have any bad blood with them, but that shit's stupid. God damn. So, all right, Stu, let's get over to yours. I don't want to get into this shit anymore. Fuck that. I'm so good. All right, Stu, let's go ahead.
All right, we're going right into it. Fuck all the rants. We're going right into basketball right here. I'm going to Haywood Highsmith. Man, I really do feel like they're begging me to take this right here. And I almost had another spot, honestly, on the show because I wanted to see maybe I do some parlays, something like that, obviously. But I think Haywood – one steal at -130 is just a flat out bad price. I think we got to take advantage right here. So when we played this last series, or we played this in a play-in game in the show, if you were watching just like a week and a half ago, and I had to play one steal and 1-3 combined in that game. And I was thinking I'd have to do that again today because 1-3 is, I believe, -310, something like that. And Highsmith is a guy that's played it better at home, like just in general. He shoots better at home. He shot 48% from three on low volume, but that's still pretty impressive for a guy that's not seen as a shooter. So he's earned himself naturally more minutes at home. But obviously with the injury stuff, he played 32 minutes last game. Like they don't have any other choice but to play him heavy minutes. So for me, he was -175 when we all expected him to be playing 22 minutes, 23, maybe with an upside of 30. Now he has a safe floor of 25 minutes, right? This is a guy that's going to be out there for at least, 26, 27 with the upside of last game where he played 32 minutes. And if he's hitting those shots, they're not going to want him to come off the court. This is an elite defensive player. Highsmith is a very strong, switchable defensive player. He has a lot of versatility. He's not in like the McDaniels level that you see some of these other forwards in, but he's still one of the better defenders that we have out there. And that's why he earns himself minutes on the Heat. Like I said, the problem is kind of the scoring. What else can you provide to the team? But when you got a Boston team that's so switchable, Tatum, Brown, you got to guard, fours and ones. Highsmith is very, very needed. And obviously the injury stuff opens it up. This team has just been battered. It's rough. I feel bad. Obviously Jimmy Butler, is out. That's kind of the heart and soul of this team. They're going to lock in on Tyler Hero. And I think it's going to be a rough road for the Heat. But like I said, this is a guy, once again, we project him as a -175 steal guy for 23, 24 minutes. So I get Boston isn't the best matchup, but these are the prices it's been this series. And he missed he missed one game this series, right? But he still has a strong hit rate beyond that. So for me overall, just this number's wrong. Like I don't really know what else to say. I bet Highsmith a decent amount, and I get Boston is not a team that's likely to turn the ball over. But as you guys know, the Heat win this by staying as scrappy as possible. They're going to be as ungodly aggressive as possible because that's the only way that you have a chance against a team that's magnitudes better than you right now when you're missing your star player. So I like the pathway for Highsmith to play 30 minutes right here. If you're telling me he's playing 30 minutes, I'm pricing this deal at -220, maybe a little bit higher. If they're going to give us -130, let's make them regret it.
Yes, sir. Hey, I know we're parlaying this shit, bro. It's just like, What's different? You want to bet role players at home, dude. That's literally like a rule. Dude. You don't want to bet the role players when you're on the road, dude. You want your best guys out there the whole time. So should be good to go. I definitely like this spot. And let's roll with it. I'm gonna roll to again a guy before the season I didn't think I was gonna bet on. I'm going to plus money to start my day off. That's gonna be Luis Severino. I've been betting Luis Severino a lot more than it was on my bingo card before the year started, dude. I did not think I was putting any money on Luis Severino, but shout out to him, man. The dude's been fantastic. He's been lights out, and he's been very, very good at home. A 2.25 ERA at home. Actually, dude, his numbers on his fastball are wild to me because usually, unless you get a huge velo bump, there's really no reason to why your fastball, unless you get a bump or you're starting to use it as like a sinker, where the numbers just get so much better. But against his four-seam fastball last year, he was throwing at 96.5 miles an hour. 355 batting average against, only a 20 or 19% whiff rate. Expected slugging, 692. Like, that thing is getting smoked last year. That's obviously a pretty big sample size. But so far this year, 222 batting average and a slugging against it is 267. This dude is missing barrels with his spot. And I don't know why. I think it's just location. He's taken some off to put it in the spots that he wants. And when you start seeing that mixed in with a little bit more of adding a sinker and cutter in there, where last year he didn't throw the sinker at all, but he's getting soft contact. It's the reason why I don't want to go to the strikeouts, because he is inducing a little bit more soft contact. And last year he only threw a sinker 2% of the time. That sinker is now 15% of his arsenal, and he's getting a lot more ground balls. And when you pitch in Met Stadium, helps a lot. It helps a lot here, especially when you're facing this Cubs team. I know the Cubs are good. I only play the Cubs at home. Only play the Cubs at home. Talked about it with Ian Happ. The Cubs team this year is the same thing as Ian Happ. Just the whole team's like that now. They are so good at home, but on the road this year, only a 665 OPS. That's ranking right with the Astros and the Rockies, dude, for road stuff. And the Rockies are on the road, we know, suck. The Astros this year have 8 wins, bro. Like, they're not good. And I want to take the Cubs away from Wrigley when I can. And this is a good spot for them. Like I said, it's not going to be that great outside. It's a lot better pitching park than Wrigley is as well. So I really like Severino in this spot. Again, he's missed enough barrels for enough sample size. It's at about 30 innings already this year, where we're only seeing his hard hit rate around 40%, where it's at 45% last year. His ERA 2.67, expected is a 3.6. Obviously, last year, dude, we saw almost a 6 expected ERA. It's all based off that fastball. So just being able to use the four seam and have the cutter going inside to the lefty, running away from the lefty with the sinker as well, it makes it really tough for these hitters to keep that timing on it, because they're not obviously the same speed, even though they're both considered fastballs here. So I really like this spot. I think that being able to have that slider in there as well, to miss a couple barrels here and there, I think it'll keep it off. And obviously Bellinger being out, he is the guy I was afraid of, right? Hap on the road is different than Hap at home. And Bellinger, he travels, man. He travels well, and he does well really wherever he goes. So having him out of this lineup as that power lefty in the middle of this order, really making me feel pretty good about it, seeing as lefties have been hitting them, have obviously hit them a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing about Severino, too, I mean, just looking at it first, like you said, not expecting to come into the year, but it's good that we're able to make these material changes based on what we're seeing, because that's the biggest way you get stuck losing money, right, is you get stuck in this, oh, this guy sucks, this guy sucks, this guy sucks. I'm never going to bet on him. I'm always going to bet against him. But it's one thing if a guy's getting lucky, blah, blah, blah. But if you can point to actual changes that were made and we're seeing the improvements live right now, then that's kind of the best way to catch these books off guard. And obviously, Severino was the guy we faded a decent amount last year, but he's also one of those guys that you did hate fading, because out of nowhere, he'd go 7 strong, right, with 9 Ks or whatever, and he just dusted the other team. And it's just like, can we find any level of consistency? So it's not like there were never any highs there with a guy like this. You know, it was just kind of the consistency. So definitely like the analysis on this play. I'll definitely be telling you plus money right here.
Yeah, and then obviously the Waldron side, the knuckleballer. Honestly, knuckleballers are so hit and miss for me. I don't like backing them that much. But
yeah, I don't either.
These Reds, I think they're going to be pesky enough to get some runs across. Also, I don't think that you're going to see these dudes touching Nick Lodolo. I think Nick Lodolo absolutely shoves tonight. Like, he's my favorite player playing DFS tonight. I want to play him. And also, Dude, I was looking at it. I was surprised at how bad the Padres' strikeout numbers are at home versus lefties. Like their home numbers are not as good as I expected them to be. Like the Padres, they got some dudes, bro, but like they're middle of the pack in OPS at home. They strike out a shit ton, 140 Ks and 550 at bats. Like that's a lot of Ks. And when you have a guy like Lodolo who can miss bats and not have to pitch in Great American tonight, I think he's gonna be happy. So, like I said, I think this is a good price. And if you want to play devil's advocate, I would maybe just take Waldron strikeouts because you know what I mean. Like if he is on, he's just going to mull these dudes, right? Because these knuckleballers, if they're on, dude, they're just. I don't know if you saw the last outing. Waldron actually threw a knuckleball that moved so much that the catcher completely missed it and it hit the ump in the chest.
I saw, yeah.
Like, with these guys, if you want to play devil's advocate, I'm sure you could and try to run up a ladder on that. But that's the way I would do it. I wouldn't be playing it just for him to, just be in that middle spot. So I'm really excited to roll today. I think this is a great spot for plus money.
And based on that, though, so is Lodolo 5.5 Ks a go then? I mean,
I'm like I said, I'll be talking about him in the long shot spot.
Okay, gotcha.
I have to. I can't take him straight at the 5.5. I'm going to play his ladder. I think that's the only way to do it.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, let's go to play number 2 for Stu here. Take a look at the chat. We have Hugh talking about he has the DK boost for the Dodgers. Obviously, you talked about them not winning the whole thing this year, so we will see that. Hopefully, Glasnow's okay. Obviously, you saw him go off the field. The league's better when Glasnow's playing. I wish he wasn't with the Dodgers, but the dude is so electric. Hopefully, he's going. Yes, let's keep it going, Vandy. Hopefully, everything is going well with you as well. Stu, your time to go. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's go. We're going Chet over 1.5 threes. It's funny, just a second ago, we talked about the DraftKings in general just not knowing how to price like steals and blocks. Like I think it's just bad pricing here. I actually think this is kind of overreacting to some adjustments we don't necessarily know are going to happen in the series, right? Because the biggest thing with Chet is Joe Val, right? They're spacing the floor. They're making him irrelevant. So last game, Joe Val did not play in the second quarter. He got benched. And this number has now fallen down from, the minus 145 range where I expected to now widely available, almost plus money, which I was very surprised by. And I get less Joe Val does mean less Chet spacing the floor, right? That's a fact, sure. But when we look at it, he's over in 2 or 3 of these games in the series. He had his lowest field goal attempts last game with 4. And when you look at the game log, you go, okay, why did he not 4 field goal attempts, 4 3-point attempts? Sorry, to be clear. His lowest on the season against the Pelicans. Why is that the case? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because Josh Giddey had one of his better shooting days of the season. That doesn't happen rare. What about Lou Dort going 4 for 8 from the field? What about SGA continuing doing SGA things? Like, sure, his volume was low last game, but they blew them out. They kind of destroyed him. It really didn't matter whether it was Nance or Joval. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nance is starting tonight. I would start Nance tonight. That's kind of what I'm expecting right now. But even no matter what, when you look at regular season, when you look at all of his matchup experience, this is a Pelicans team that has always struggled against the spot up, right? They're very aggressive against opposing ball handlers. They want to get the ball out of SGA's hands and make anyone else beat you. And for the first 2 games, Chet was crushing them. Last game, 1 for 4. I still like the volume, but the other guys were eating. I think we see a little bit of regression to the mean from some of these other streaky shooters. And we see a guy like Chet, who's been hyper efficient on like 4 attempts all year long, is going to be in that 5, 6, 7 attempt range where we really want him. So I get that his floor spacing may not be as asked because there might be less Joval, but I think we're kind of overreacting because no matter what, this is a guy that's consistently shown us that safe floor of around 4 or 5 field goal attempts from 3. And now we're getting him in a playoff environment where the other team struggles against spot up attempts. They're not good against the 3-point line in general when you're a non-ball handler, and they're going to be getting the ball out of SGA's hands. Like I said, that's number 1 priority. They can't let him beat you. And I mean, to be honest, the Pelicans can't really do anything. I don't think they're going to win. I like the Thunder tonight personally, but I just think this line is a flat-out overreaction, and I like the price a lot as well at minus 105. Like I said, I would have it in that minus 130 range, and that would have been my opener. I would expect people to kind of be bend that number up a little bit back to where it was these last couple games. So that my analysis is pretty simple. We got a consistent efficient three-point shooter who's been lights out this year. We got a team that's going to force the ball out of the ball handler's hands. And I think flat out people are overreacting to the Joe Val benching. And I think they're assuming that the role is going to drastically change. But I think this is a little bit more of a chess match than that. And I don't think we're going to see Chet, especially they've been daring him to shoot those transition threes all year long, because you don't want SGA in transition. You don't want Jalen Williams in transition. You let the rookie 7-footer take the lower percentage shot out there. And luckily for us, Chet rocks, and he's really good. And I think he's going to continue to be really good, because I guess you did devil's advocate a minute ago. I think the one thing is, honestly, he's a rookie. I think that keeps it down a little. No playoff experience, anything like that. The lights are not too bright for this guy. He's shown up at every moment since, and I think this is going to be another good game for him. So I came into the day expecting to kind of play this at a worse price. Same with Highsmith, and I think they're kind of, messing up right here for giving us such a playable number. So definitely like Chet, 2 threes tonight in a very important closeout game against the Pelicans.
Yeah, and I think that's an important part to kind of talk about here before I get into my last plays. When you have a spot that you have circled, right, you always want to look at why shouldn't I take it, right? Why shouldn't I? Because there's always you can always skew data to make it look like, oh shit, this is a good play. You could do that. I could click enough buttons and filter this shit to make it sound good, but you got to be able to say, hey, why shouldn't I take it? And when your only thing that you can say is because he's young, that's it. Like that's the argument on the other side that makes it really tough for you not to want to take it, right? That if it's just experience, that's tough, because I think that's obviously something that comes along, but like, he's played in big games in college when he was there, right? He had some experience in those, so that's just something that I know I use. I'm sure you do as well, where you go through all of it. You have your circle spots. You like this spot. How do I make it better? Is there a way I can, buy it down? Is it worth buying down? Just to kind of go through that and kind of think in your head, like, okay, there is a way that I could lose this one, but there's like 6 different ways that we could get there. Definitely a look that you want to talk about there. And that's just, I know we don't talk about it much. We don't talk about our process that much, but that's something that I definitely do in my process there to talk about, why shouldn't I take it? Because we like you said, you can make, especially in baseball, especially in NBA, like you could just say, all right, Chet's been doing this in this exact matchup. He's in it for this many minutes. So I can change it to being like per 60, this man hits like 12 threes. You know what I mean? So you can do so much shit to make it sound better, but I like that you brought up that, because I do it a lot as well in my analysis stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big part of it here. It's like, I love the props.cashes of the world and stuff like that. I think it's very good for gambling, and I appreciate those guys being good to me over the years as well. But when you pull up a graph, you just want to make people see green, right? That's the goal, I think, on Twitter. You want to make people – so you go, oh, when he's playing 28 to 32 minutes, on the road in this circumstance, like you said, you can get it to say whatever you want. I think it's way more important to come out and say, these are the reasons why it could lose, and here's why we don't think that's going to happen tonight. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what this show's built on. So definitely agree, and it's kind of shown in both of these props today, for me at least, in the sense that they're numbers I planned on playing, but I think they're priced a little differently than I expected them to do. And when I see that, you need to reevaluate, because I don't think I'm smarter than the sports books. You need to dive a little bit deeper and see, why are they pricing it? Okay, I think they're seeing this. Here's why I don't think that is going to happen, and go from there. So yeah, definitely love these looks. And yeah, always love talking process on here. If people have questions about that stuff, we're always willing to answer, go into depth, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. Last play of the day, very high number. Did not expect to see this number when I opened it. And I'm like, oh, shit, I kind of like this number. I looked at this book, opened it up. It's 10 and a half, right, around places. And I'm like, damn, that's high. Why is it so high? Paxton's overlying numbers are not that bad. Then let's dive a little bit. Let's dig a little bit, right? This is what we like to do. First off, Diamondbacks at home against a lefty. Yeah. Sign me up. Arizona number 1 in the MLB in hitting versus lefties so far this year. Also, they're towards the top again in OPS against at home, a 770 OPS at home, which is top 10. These dudes rake lefties. They rake at home. Roof is probably going to be open. That's going to probably add a little bit as well. But also, James Paxton's just not been good, bro. Looking at these numbers, the dude used to K dudes. This guy doesn't strike out anybody. 11% K rate versus righties, 16 to lefties. that ain't going to get it done against a team like this, absolutely loaded top to bottom. You're going to have Marte from the right side. Obviously, Christian Walker destroys left-handed pitching. And I told you that his overlying numbers are not that bad, but he has a 5.35 xFIP on the road. His numbers against righties are fucking awful. Like awful. Like I expect Patrick Corbin numbers against righties to look like this. He's got a 21% walk rate so far this year, 4.5 Ks per 9 against righties this year, and almost a 7 xFIP. That is awful. Like I'm telling you, that is pushing Patrick Corbin numbers. And when you have as many right-handed power bats, Gabriel Moreno, no one talks about him. He's going to be sitting in the 5, right? Obviously, Corbin Carroll's been ass, but he's been sitting in like the 7 hole now. Like they moved him down in this lineup. And when you're bringing out Christian Walker, right? I mean, you're bringing out Moreno and seeing Ketel Marte from the right-hand side where he's got some pop over there. I think this is going to be a tough spot for James Paxton and obviously the sportsbooks too. Looking at the Tommy Henry side, 5.5 ERA so far this year. I am kind of concerned with the slugging percentage against. It is not great. And when you look at batting average on balls in play, right, and you see a guy that has a super high one, right, it kind of concerns me that the negative regression could come there, but his expected ERA is about the same. He had a 44% hard hit rate, which is way up there. And now you get to face the Dodgers. Yeah, have fun, bro. Like that is not a spot I want to be kind of struggling, especially when I have a 171 whip versus righties. He's walking 9% of right-handed bats, right? And then you start looking at this team. Will Smith, no one's talking about him because everybody talks about Mookie in the top 3. Will Smith is on one right now. Teoscar Hernandez against lefties, on one right now. Then you get to mess around with those lefties in the middle. You're messing with Shohei and Freddie Freeman. Dudes smoke lefties even as left-handed bats, right? This just reminds me of that Astros order when the Astros don't suck because the only lefties you get to mess around with smoke lefties. Yeah. So now when you look down this lineup and you look at all these righties and all these righties with power, and even with Muncy with power, I'm kind of concerned for this dude. I really am. I don't see anything positive happening in these spots. And also just going down because I always like to look at a couple times through the order, right? You want to look at how these guys do going through the order. He's got a 5.21 FIP first time through the order, 5.51 FIP second time through the order. Actually gets really good third time through the order, but obviously very low sample size there. And then you look at Paxton, his xFIP is 6.1 first time through the order, 6.4 second time through the order. And the dude's been kind of saved by batting average on balls in play, dude. Against righties this year, 174 batting average on balls in play. I think that we're going to see a lot of pop in this game. I expect a lot of walks in this game, and I expect both pitchers to really struggle with these offenses. So I guess I don't need to hype you up on this Dodgers team. This Dodgers team is absolutely fucking loaded. And I mean, there's just so much pop down this lineup. I mean, even Chris Taylor in the 9, right? This Pegas guy, dude, he's smoking it since he's been called up. So it's like there's really no spot for you to get a rest in this lineup. And when you're top 4 and Will Smith, or top 5, I'll even give it to Oscar, a guy who hit 35-plus bombs last year. This team is loaded, and I really like to see a team that has a struggling arm in Tommy Henry. He did have a good outing in his last one, skews the data to make it look good. But Paxton is the other way around, where his data looks really good, but there's a lot of stuff underneath. So I think I'm going to be probably one of the only guys probably just wanting to take this over, but I'm fine with that. I think that this is a good spot for both pitchers to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, that 4.5 K per 9 combined with a 20% walk rate is crazy. And obviously, like you said, both of these two teams, the lefty power is crazy. I mean, going through the whole time, I'm in my head, I'm just trying to think, who do I want to take for a home run? Because there's like 18 different guys. Like Christian Walker has been so good to me, obviously, over these last couple of years, just in terms of home runs. But then, like you said, too, a guy like the worst thing that ever happens is when you have Walker and you're waiting for the notifications and you see Marte hit the homer. You're like, damn, like you don't even think about him half the time. But you're right. He does have that kind of sneaky power, especially against lefties. And I'm a fan of Moreno as well. I like that trade for them. So definitely like this. And I don't even need to talk about the Dodgers. Like Will Smith, Mookie, all these guys. For me, it'll just be like, who do I want to play to hit a home run? Because to me, I'm going to start with the Diamondback for sure. Because I like Paxton as much as the next guy, but we know when he gives it up, it goes far, right? He's one of those guys that when he misses the fly ball rate, the hard hit rate, it can go through the roof. So I'm definitely, going to try to narrow down a home run pick or two in this game for sure.
Yeah, dude, I get it that people like are coming off his name and they're like, oh, damn, okay, he's been decent. But like I said, against righties this year, he only has a 37% ground ball rate, 62% to lefties. But you're going to give up almost 50% fly balls around with 16% line drives against right-handed batters. But that's what I'm saying. The batting average on balls in play being 170 doesn't make sense, bro. Like, it's going to go up. And we want to be on the side before before it goes up, before you start seeing Paxton's lines at 2.5 earned runs, 3.5 earned runs, because I think it could get up there. But obviously, we talked to John, and obviously one of the best guys in MLB when you talk about pull side, right? And that's something that you want to talk about. 27% pull side, 44% to center, right? Those are two things that I think is going to go up for righties, but they're just smoking the ball, and it's going to center field, where unfortunately is the deepest part of the ballpark. So hopefully we see some pull side. I think Christian Walker going to get one out today.
Yeah, I mean, we're just about to be in the long shot portion, but you've already got me inspired on these long shots. Like, I think I'm probably just like Walker's 440 for a home run right now. I mean,
that is very high. That should not be that high.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And unless my app is wrong, it says Moreno's plus 1,200 for a home run as well. I haven't opened up FanDuel, so.
Yeah, I mean, I would be more inclined to do the Walker one, I think.
I'm saying I might stack a couple here, buddy, okay? Because in the sense that if you look at his stats, like you said, everything, it looks great. It feels like the home run props are not priced accordingly with the game props right here. Because like I said, I mean, I've watched Paxton a decent amount. When he gets hit hard, and you just fully backed it up with the ground ball rate stuff right there. So I don't know. I think I'm probably going to stack a homer or two in that game for sure.
Yeah, to me, it should be a fun game. I'm excited. Let's go through a recap here. We're over our 35-minute mark. Usually we're cooking by now, but we'll get it going here for you guys. Let's get our recap.
Yeah, you got me fired up. We got Chet over 1.5 threes, minus 105. Got FanDuel Rivers. I played up to minus 120 range, that area. And then we got Hayward Highsmith to record 1 steal, minus 130 over on DraftKings. Let's make them regret dropping this down. Shouldn't have done it. I think we cash this one pretty easily.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to be rolling with the Dodgers first 5 over 5.5, minus 115, facing off against the Diamondbacks. And I'm going to be rolling plus money spot with Luis Severino, under 2.5 earned runs, minus 150 on its own if you want to do that. But I think backing Waldron against a tough guy in Lodolo today, I think I would take his no-win clause before. So I like the plus money spot. I think it looks good. I'm going to kick this over to you with a question here from Don Pla. I don't know, I'm going to try. Hello, how do you feel about Jason Tatum over 4 points in the first quarter?
I like it. I mean, that's got to be an alt line, though. I'd have to 100% assume that that's an alt line and a parlay piece. But yeah, I do like it. I think he's going to stay consistent in the first. The thing is, Brown is kind of the first quarter guy around there, Brown and Porzingis. But I mean, they know now. Porzingis has kind of crushed him, and they slowed Porzingis down a little bit more in the post in at least the first quarter in that last game. So I don't hate it at all. I just think, like, I'd probably rather just play – if you like Tatum, I'd probably just rather play him in the full game because for me, the first quarter is always about minutes. It's always about opportunity, and he's never really playing super, super high minutes in the first quarter. He takes it a little bit slower, lets the other guys pop off. But at 4, that's like a super steal. You know what I mean? That's very small. So that's why I'm kind of assuming it's an alt line.
Perfect. Alonso makes it a little tough for me. I don't know how I like fading Jameson Taillon. I do not like Jameson Taillon, but the dude does his job and just throws balls and you hit it straight into the ground. The dude just throws heavy fucking sinkers into the ground. And like I said, I just backed Severino for going to a pitcher's park. Like if this was in Wrigley, I'd probably take it because you get so much better numbers.
Yeah.
To fly balls, right? And fly balls gotta die out in New York, honestly. Like you, obviously, I'm not saying like Alonso can't do it, right? But I do think that I think there's better places to go. Like I think hits, runs, RBIs is probably better, right? Like because I could see Taillon just walking Alonso, like for real, like because he is way better versus lefties, honestly.
Yeah,
thinker and a really good changeup.
Yeah, and Taillon's numbers are better than they were last year. That's for sure. I'm trying to see because he struggled on the road at times last year as well. So I was curious if that stayed consistent here, but it looks like it hasn't yet so far this season. So I don't know. For me, my biggest thing is RBI. You want the guys around you to do something. I don't
trust the best, bro.
Exactly. At all. Like, I like Pete Alonso, but if he's getting an RBI, I almost feel like he's getting his own RBI, right? And at that point, you might as well go for the more aggressive, plus money at the home run. But, if you have more of a belief in the guys in front of him, there's something you're seeing there, then, you could go for it. But for me, personally, I don't mind Alonso just because, man, I don't know if this Tyone stuff is sustainable from what we're seeing so far. It's not like he's a bad pitcher or anything like that, but he's one of those, when he misses, like when you're on with the ground ball stuff, you're painting corners, that's awesome. But when you're not painting corners, he's not blown by anyone. So if he's coming out looking kind of rough, you don't want to be missing corners against Pete Alonso. He'll send it 450 feet. So I see the vision. Personally, I like it, but RBI probably isn't where I'd go. And like you said, the road stuff as well isn't as great outside of Wrigley here.
Beautiful. Stu, you got a long shot for us.
Yep, I got 2 long shots. One of them is Najee, or not, sorry. Well, that's the second one.
Which one do you want me to post? Which one do you want me to post here?
Let me check the odds on the first one or on the second one. I got Highsmith 2 steals as plus 330, but I feel like that's kind of lame to just go to the same prop that I just went to. This one's a little less plus money. Okay, we'll do Highsmith. We'll do Highsmith to do 2 steals at plus 330 because that's my favorite long shot. So I want that to count against the record. I'll bring up another one in a second, but Highsmith 2 steals plus 330 on DraftKings is what we'll go with here. And it's a continuation of what I was saying earlier. These numbers are projecting him to play a lower minutes threshold than I think he will. And I think if you're going to sign me up for 30 minutes at 28 minutes of Haywood Highsmith, I'm going to take you up on this number right here. I think it's a good deal. So for me personally, I mean, if you missed earlier in the show, I went into a lot more detail about it, but this is a guy that if he's playing these kind of minutes, right, the Butler injury, there's not really much of a choice. He puts it all out there on defense, and that's exactly what this team is going to be doing. So I do have that. There is one more guy I do like, though, even if we're not the official one. I like Najee Marshall tonight. I played him 10 points at plus 290, and then I also played him at 2 threes for plus 400. I think Najee Marshall is a guy that is going to – if Joe Val is, like, out of the rotation, which I don't think is happening – look at the roster. Who is behind Larry Nance, who, by the way, is not a center? They don't have any other centers. That's the answer to the question. It's only these big forwards that they've been running with all year. And Najee Marshall has been a good substitute player. Like, he's been a very, very solid guy. Additionally, I think we see some regression on the open threes so far this year. I believe 30% from open threes in this series so far, right? I mean, that's not great. This is a guy that shot, I believe, 36 on them in the regular season. So I'm hoping we get a little regression right there as well. But I think that's just a guy that his minutes could, if we all think, like, I've been betting so much on Larry Nance, right? His numbers they're fucked, though. If you look at him, he's 7.5 rebounds. 10 rebounds is like plus 190. They're not giving you anything on it right now. And I think it's because the lineup isn't out. But they're giving you options on Marshall. And if Nance plays a lot more, someone's going to have to play those backup forward minutes, right? He could go from maybe 18, 20 minutes to maybe 25 minutes or something like that. So I think Marshall could be sneaky. Also, let's be honest, this game could be a blowout. There have been a lot of blowouts so far. Marshall will play more in those kind of situations. So definitely like him as a little sneaky other guy that I don't think many people are going to be looking too close at today.
I love it. And I'm going to be going to a decent number here. And 2 guys I've already hyped up. I'm going to Christian Walker RBI at plus 125. I'm going to be rolling with Nick Lodolo plus 180 on FanDuel right now for 7Ks. And I like baiting the San Diego lineup, bro. They couldn't even do shit in Colorado outside of that last game where they face, I don't even know, a trash can, just like every other one in there. So I really like Lodolo tonight. I also looked at his numbers, and I know these are weird numbers to look at because he's only got 17 innings pitched on the road in the last 2 years, obviously because of injury. But last year alone, 22 innings pitched at home at an 8.4 ERA, on the road 2.25, with a K rate that's 40%. San Diego will swing and miss, right? As much fun as this team is, Bogarts is not a contact guy anymore. I've seen him strike out more than I've ever seen him strike out when he was out in Boston. Francisco Tatis, ton of swing and miss there. Even Hung Sung Kim batting in the 5, ton of swing and miss there. Right, Capuano, I think is how you say it. Ton of swing and miss there. If Jackson Merrill's out, another lefty out, I think Lodolo, if he faces any lefties, will K them, bro. Like, it is pretty wild how high his strikeout rate is versus left-handed batters, right? So, also, so far this year only has he's got a 29% K rate, but only a 37% hard hit rate. For a guy who throws up in the zone, that's really good because you expect to see a lot more hard hit balls when the ball is up in the zone. And also Christian Walker, I just talked about it. Ad nauseum. So I think that plus 125 is a great number. I'll be playing that straight. Excited to get after that one. So it should be a fun one. Want to be involved with both those late game hammers.
Yeah, I'm going to probably play him solo as well in addition, maybe a little quarter unit. Because I like Lodolo. When you were talking about it earlier, I'm a big fan in general. But you got me fired up with some of those numbers you were pulling as well. So I think probably run a little Lodolo ladder in addition to this combo right here. And I already told you I'm betting the Walker home run. So this RBI will be like my little safer hedge, version on it as well. But definitely liking this combo right here. Obviously, you talked out the analysis very well on both guys, but I'm super excited to back both of these guys today. I think it's going to be a good night.
Let's do it. Stu, you got anything else for the people here? Decent slate. I mean, this is probably one of the last slates for NBA that you're getting 3 full games to see coming to an end. Got a massive MLB slate, so I'm excited for that one. What do you got for the people before we head out?
Yep, maybe last 3 gamer of the year, and as always, a couple 10-point spreads. That's how it goes in the NBA. But I think we'll find at least another prop or 2 over on Twitter by the end of the day. Still, or maybe even have an early one for tomorrow as well. So definitely tap in over on Twitter if you haven't already. Also added some great combos in the Discord as well earlier today. I have a free Discord. The link is in my bio on Twitter. I would highly recommend. A lot of smart guys in there, a lot of good information shared. And obviously that's where I talk about my bets before anywhere else, because I'm literally like putting my thoughts, right, as I'm coming up with this stuff in there as well. So definitely make sure tapped in all those different spots. It's all free, just like this show. And yeah, if you enjoy all the free stuff, leave a like, leave a comment. That's really the only thing that matters. That's the only way to gauge that anyone likes it. So we would very much appreciate it if you would do those things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, we do the show for free. Obviously, 3 years now, heading in on 3 years, and absolutely rolling. We didn't even get to recap because we wanted to get right into the show here. We cooked last show. I'm pretty sure you hit both too, didn't you, or hit one?
I think I went 1-1, but I don't remember, to be honest. With the plays.
Yeah, I think PJ got a block.
He did.
Yeah, and then I think Luca had like 6.
He got injured. Yeah, 1-1 for me. And then you obviously carried us. We didn't even celebrate the freaking long shot either.
Yeah, that's why I said we got to the long shot portion. I didn't talk about it yet because we had Braves. Shout out to Cleveland, bro. Those guys are fucking pesky, man. And keep swiping bases, my guy. Corbin Burns gave up a nuke on this first inning and then shoved on those boys. Gave up a first inning nuke to Shea Langoliers, who just decides against good pitchers that he is the best hitter in baseball against good pitching. I don't fucking get it. Dude sucks, but fuck. There's like 3 games a year this dude's hitting double dongs, bro. And it's wild. And then he hits Corbin on the first one. I talked about literally how good he was at limiting power to right-handed bats. And then the first fucking right, he hits a nuke. So that was fun. So that one was good there. And obviously, keep giving me Marcell Ozuna props like this, bro. This dude just continues to rake. And I think these sportsbooks just expect him to start sucking soon. But it's tough when the dude doesn't strike out. He's fine a 15% K rate. This dude was a lifetime 25% K rate guy. Now he's just not striking out. So shout out to Marcel, cashing that 430. Obviously, you hit a couple long shots already this year. I'm happy to finally join in on one. We're almost at 10 units on MLB so far this year, guys. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. Hopefully, you guys have been making money with us. And, yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Again, make sure you're tuning in to Twitter. Tap in over there so you know if we're going to go a little earlier. Should be fun. Good slate. I haven't looked at it for Wednesday yet. Should do that prior. But, yeah, we're here. And I only focus one day at a time we can with this amount of games. So we'll see you Wednesday. Best of luck on the best of nights, guys. And hit that like button on your way out.